Hello and welcome to this week's Rugby League Coach analysis video. My name is Leigh Addison from rugbyleaguecoach.com.au, the world's biggest online rugby league coaching resource. As promised, this week I am going to look at the defence of Leigh Leopards and Warrington Wolves. We're looking at earlier rounds to make it fair because we've looked at all the other teams, and then we will move on to a different topic next week. If you want some NRL analysis, I suggest you look out for the Loose Carry podcast from NRL website Zero Tackle. On there, I do an NRL-related Coach's Corner, where I basically do the same thing as what you see here. So it's just a little bit shorter, that's all. So that's Loose Carry from Zero Tackle. So go to zerotackle.com if you're interested in that. And of course, I've got plenty of options for coaches as well, which I'll go through in some part of this video. But otherwise, let's go and have a look at it, eh? First of all, we're going to look at Leigh Leopards. Kick chase, not sensational, I've got to be honest, but not too bad. Still a line. Collisions, not great. Players are a little bit wide. I'm just going to take you back through that initial collision. Look how wide the two defenders are. The attacker was able to step, get his nose between the two defenders from Leigh Leopards, and was able to find the floor. Also, chesty collisions, no shoulder contact. The defence is quite compressed. However, some players are already moving up and in, as you can see at the top of the screen where I'm now highlighting, and you could also argue that they need to be a lot faster than they are at the stage of the game, which is very, very early. Passive tackle 2, ruck's not controlled. Let's look at that again. So look at this collision now. Chesty, head's far away, so they're not getting the head in, they're not locking into the collision. And number 2 is able to find the floor quite easily. Really poor from Leigh, and both markers are backtracking when the ball is played. The defence on the short side doesn't come up. This is telling me all sorts about why Leigh have had a scratchy start to the season, if you ask me. They are looking to catch and control in defence, which is something I've spoken about a lot. Again, poor collision. I can't see the number there, but number 12 is now in control. He has got his head quite far away, though, and it's definitely the frame, the torso that he's trying to tackle with, and not the shoulder. Legs are straight in the tackle, so they're not getting very much power from their legs. And somebody came in there for the late chop. Did you notice he lost his legs? So he's going to lack power there too. And something else I want you to notice there. This defender here, and forgive me for not knowing names, I tend to just look at the shapes and the movements and the analytics of the players and the team rather than try and learn all the names. If you want commentary, watch Sky Sports. I'm here to analyse, okay? The defender that's coming in now in the pink boots, his legs are very far apart, but also he's going to tackle, and his direction of tackle is going to go towards number 12 and number 8. So he's going towards his own try line. So he's actually pushing the players into... He's actually pushing the attacker, into his own players. He's also lost his feet here, so he's got no power. Really, he should have gone in to pull the attacker away from his own try line so as to make the play the ball journey a lot harder. I don't think Leigh have got very good ruck control at all. This defensive line is erratic. You could argue that potentially was obstruction there, but those things don't tend to happen in Super League. Poor collision on the inside. St Helens getting plenty of go forward. Definitely a lot in that for Leigh to work on. Here they are on their own goal line. Passive tackles again. Not much in terms of ruck control. Markers not square for the millionth time in Super League. Can you see their defence is now quite spread? They're coming now a little bit more up and in, still tackling up top. Number 15 around the back, just trying to disrupt the potential offload. No effort to put the player on the ground. What's important to note here is the 2 and 3 in defender have come up quickly, but what I think is the wing is still hanging back, and there's huge spacings there as well, so inconsistent spacings, and it's just too easy for St Helens to get through. And they give away a penalty because they're on a passive tackle excursion, if you like. They're not trying to tackle and dominate tackles. They're trying to catch and control. So they're always at risk of somebody getting to the ground quickly and trying to hold them down on the floor. So I think Leigh are behind the 8 ball when it comes to these ruck rules that are far faster. And of course, everything I've just spoken about has led to St Helens breaking the line. Don't worry, guys, I'm going to be talking about some attack in the future weeks, but I am just going to take a break to talk to you about a few things that are going on at Rugby League Coach. This YouTube channel that you are on has been going for a number of years, and there's so many different playlists on here. So go to the playlist section and have a look at whatever takes your fancy. There's coach playlists, player playlists, fitness playlists, gym playlists, and there's also training plans and podcast episodes. So the Rugby League Coach YouTube channel that you are on now is something that you should really enjoy. In a few weeks' time, on the date that's on the screen, and I'll also put the details in the YouTube description, I am holding 2 more free courses for coaches. They are called Coaching Too Much Structure Will Well and Truly, and Defend Like a Demon. Coaching Too Much Structure is all about trying to teach players what they to play what they can see, and Defending Like a Demon is basically everything you've seen Leigh Leopards not doing so far. Okay, so I will be talking through that on those 2 courses. All the details to join are in the description with this video. If you want to invest in your coaching right now, I have an extended sale. Those of you who are eagle-eyed will notice that a 1-year coach membership is currently at half price, but if you want coach membership for lifetime, so 1 payment, it's currently at 33% off. I know so many of you are finding life tough at the moment. I know so many of you are struggling to count the pennies in this cost of living crisis that has gripped the Western world. So this is my gesture to try and get so many of you as many coaching resources as you can. So free courses and also some cheaper courses that are more high quality. We are now on to the hitherto unbeaten Warrington Wolves, nice and compressed at the kickoff in this game. They were also playing St Helens, so very good to see both defences actually of Leigh Leopards and Warrington Wolves against the same opposition. This is the last defence we'll look at this year. Oh, sorry, this start of the year. What a great collision from Warrington there. Let's have a look at that again. So watch this. Shoulder contact, legs are bent, getting power from the legs, and the contact line is won. And because of that quality of collision, the 2 markers are square and ready to go again. Great work for the first collision. Nice and compressed. Good shoulder contact again. Can you see the difference? Can you tell the difference from watching Leigh Leopards? This is like watching 2 different sports almost. Look how aggressive Warrington are. They're going in with the shoulders. They're doing everything they can to stop the momentum of the runner, not just catch and try and control them. That wasn't great from number 12. He mistimed his tackle a little bit. Let's have a look how. As you can see from this freeze frame here, just basically went in with his chest, number 12. Number 16 is flying in a little bit like Superman as well. The feet is very, very important when it comes to quality of tackle technique. Get your feet close, you can get power from your legs. If you don't, or you get them too close and you can't get your shoulder in, you can get knocked backwards like number 12 was then, and he's just managed to hold on for dear life. So that's why he's ended up on the floor, which is what we call in the game a dead marine, and there's only 1 marker. I can't wait to look at some of these attacks in the coming weeks too. Great collision again, winning the contact line. What's the contact line? I'll show you now. This right now is the contact line. It's the moment the attacker has met defender. The Warrington players won that contact line because they've managed to push the St Helens player back. He's going to play the ball from the furthest position away for him to make a convenient and efficient play the ball. But also any collision where a player stops the momentum entirely or drives them back, that is a win of a contact line or a 1 contact line. Let's have a look at Warrington defending in their own half. A little bit wider, not quite as compressed as you can see. Collisions, a little bit more chesty there, but still winning the contact line. Defenders are human beings. They're not going to go in with the shoulders all the time. This is a very good line from Warrington. I think they've done a lot of work on their defence in the off-season. Coach Sam Burgess, the hat goes off. Now, Here's a little bit of a problem. You see how Warrington have got a defender who's not in the defensive line. There is the full-back, but you can see not too far away from him as we look, another defender. Let's look at how that happened. So when at the ruck, I always think the last one in should be the first one off. Number 16 has come in into the tackle, but the ball is a little bit too quick for him and he struggles to get back in time. It could be a good technique to turn the ball back inside there and run at that gap if you're playing against Warrington, because he genuinely struggled to get back there, number 16, when he went into the tackle. Great kick chase too from Warrington. I feel like I need to look at a bit more Warrington goal line and own half defence, so I'm going to go to a third set here. That's a great line, actually. I really like that. I think Warrington are looking good defensively. That was very composed. Nobody jumped out of the line. This is good too. Good line speed. Tackle techniques. Number 22 missed it a little bit, but it's not fatal. I see they've employed one marker, so that gives them an extra defender in the defensive line because they're within the 10 metres. That's a very common tactic. Not always essential, if you ask me, but done nonetheless. Some defenders need to be a bit lighter on their feet. They're waiting a little bit for the St Helens attackers. That can be worked on over time. They do let the ball get played quickly here, and it does allow St Helens to get some inroads. Let's have a look at that again. I don't think Warrington needed to panic here. Remember, I showed you on the other side of the field, the left or the right as we look at it, how calm Warrington were in defence. Here, look at this defender here, has just completely rushed up, turned his hips in. That meant his wingers had to come with him, and his wingers overreacted, tackled a player that he probably didn't need to there. Let's check that again. This wing, let's watch him here, the player highlighted. Rushes out, doesn't need to, just needed to hold and slide, and that allows St Helens to get the nose through here to potentially score a try. I think this was given, actually. Don't know how. Hope you enjoyed this week's analysis video. I think Leigh personally are in a tiny bit of trouble and need to get their acting order, or house in order and acting gear. I forget the phrase sometimes. Too early in the morning for me. I'm Leigh Addison from rugbyleaguecoach.com to tell you, if you haven't pressed subscribe to this channel to make sure you don't miss any videos, please do so. Otherwise, I'll see you next week with another analysis video. Take care.